Well, hi, everybody. Ken Johnson here with you. And, of course, we're continuing to keep all eyes up north on the really cold weather that's getting ready to head to the south. And if we take a look, of course, this is the northern part of the hemisphere here, the top of the globe. You look back into Siberia and over the Arctics and into northern parts of Canada, temperatures well below zero tonight. And it's this air that's sitting here for now, but we're watching back into this area here. We're talking about, Siberia, the western parts of the North Pole area. This is where our cold air is going to surge south from. Not tonight, not Thursday, but starting Friday and especially into Saturday. And as we head into the weekend next week, there's going to be a straight shot from Siberia down into the United States here. And we are looking mighty, mighty cold. As a matter of fact, you can really see this, how it transpires. This is, of course, as of right now here Wednesday evening. And you can see these cold temperatures just sitting there spinning around the polar vortex. And then you can see as we get into the weekend and into the early parts of next week how that cold air just spills on south. And again, this is coming straight from Siberia and over the polar regions through the northern parts of Canada and all the way down into a good part of the United States. Again, a lot of that gets started on Saturday, and it just gets worse as we get into next week. So yeah, extreme cold is on the way, and if we kind of look at things, it gets started on Saturday evening, and this is going to be across North Texas, southern Oklahoma area. Temperatures are going to drop below freezing, and once it gets below freezing, we're talking about 32 degrees here. The way the weather information looks, at least for right now, we could stay there into the middle of next week. That could possibly be 72 to 84 hours below freezing, and that puts us with highs in the 20s, lows possibly single digits and teens, and of course those wind chills, or the real feel as I call it, will be below zero at times. Of course, this type of cold weather can lead to bursting pipes. Weatherman Cam joins me now, and Cameron, explain to the people here how the cold weather impacts the pipes.
Yeah, Ken, especially with this extended period of cold weather coming up, this can definitely lead to some issues with the pipes. So let's talk about why it is an issue for the pipes. So we're going to take you inside the home. We're going to break through here and take a look inside the home, what it does look like for our pipes inside. So here we go, taking a zoomed in look at our pipes. This is a typical nice summer Texas day. Nothing going on here with our pipes quite yet. But now we're going to introduce this extended period of cold weather. Now we're going to see some ice blockage occur within those pipes. And as that ice blockage sits there, frozen water, as it freezes, it expands. It puts pressure on the pipes. What that does, that water pressure is going to build within your pipes. If it sits like that for too long, eventually your pipe does burst and you're left with some plumbing issues. So, of course, there are some tips you can take to avoid doing this. So a couple of do's and don'ts. Drip your faucet. It's the easiest thing you can do. However, it is not a guarantee that will prevent your pipes from bursting. However, it does keep the water moving, which does make it a little harder for it to freeze within your pipes. Be sure to keep your cabinet doors open because that allows the heat within your home to also get access to your pipes, which does keep those warm as well. And then, of course, if you have any pipes that are outdoors, wrap them, whether it be with styrofoam, whatever it might be. You can wrap them. That does help to keep them insulated. And then keep the heat inside at least 55 degrees. As for don'ts, if you're going out of town, you plan to leave for this incoming cold weather, don't turn the heat off. At least set at 55 degrees is the lowest you should set it at. And, of course, do not use flames to thaw out your pipes because the flames can cause additional damage to the pipe. So, Ken, we'll send it back to you.
Hey, Cameron, I got a quick question for you there. Why does your faucet look like a doorknob?
Ken, it's not a doorknob. It's a.
Well, right there it looks like a faucet, but, on your graphic before that, it looked like a doorknob.
It's not. It's really not. You're like that. That's not a doorknob, man.
Okay. All right. I swear on his other graphic, it looked like a doorknob. Hey, but thanks a lot, Cameron. That was some really, really good information there. So, the popular term since Game of Thrones is winter is coming. And I've used it several times. Many other people use it, and it is coming indeed. It's going to arrive again on Saturday. There's your first. They're talking about the weekend here. And once the cold air gets here, it just continues to steadily get colder as that cold air just kind of comes in from the north here. We are looking at these temperatures that continue to come down, and we look at these frigid temperatures that continue to. I'm having an issue here with my graphic. Oh, I was on number one. Never mind there. sometimes when you're dealing with this stuff, this is what happens. So anyway, we're rolling with it here. There's your frigid air moving in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, covering a good part of the country here. Now, the big question, of course, every time it turns cold, people want to know, is there going to be any snow to go along with this here? So let's take a look at here. So this is a storm system we're going to watch on the backside of our cold air here as we head into early next week here. A lot of weather information want to suppress this down at the south. And if that indeed does happen, the better chances for wintry precipitation would be down here, deep South Texas and over along the Gulf Coast. If it were a little bit further north, though, there might be a better chance for some snow further north into the even colder air, and that would be some accumulating powdery snow up here, maybe in Texas, North Texas, and into parts of Oklahoma. But if we look at the scenarios, again, early to mid next week, there's our storm center. If it were to move across, let's say, central or south central Texas, that would give us some snow, again, up our way with some ice down to the south. And from there, you see the ice move over along the Gulf Coast. We're talking about Lafayette, Louisiana, Lake Charles, Louisiana, with snow up into Jackson, Mississippi, and places that don't normally see the snow. And then that would extend over into the southeastern part of the country. Scenario number 2, and a lot of weather information does do this, but at this point in time, it's just too early to make the call. I mean, our weather information just doesn't handle these situations several days out like that all that well. I'll explain why more in a moment. So this is scenario 2 that would take this storm way further to the south, down into parts of Mexico, and then moving across the southern parts of Texas here. And then you might see the wintry precipitation once again along the Gulf Coast here and across the southeastern part of the country. So if we look at the upper levels, this is the 500 millibar we call vorticity chart. This is up there about 20,000 feet in the atmosphere. And there's our polar vortex spinning here. And these are what we call areas of vorticity, or they're spin in the atmosphere. It's what helps to create our storm systems and fronts and whatnot. So you're going to see how this thing really kind of sits here and spins and really stretches out. Look at how it's stretched out. It covers pretty much the whole country here. But we're watching this part of it. And what our weather information has a hard time doing is trying to decide what to do with this part of the storm system here. Not this part, the cold part's here, but it's this part. What does it do with it? So if you look, it spins. It can't move east because you got this big dome of low pressure, the vortex keeping it from moving in that direction. So it kind of sits here and kind of may try to intensify a little bit. This would create south and southwesterly flow across the deep south here. That would throw warm, moist air up over the cold air at the Earth's surface. And this would suggest winter weather with this scenario, especially over here along the Gulf Coast and in the southeastern part of the country, maybe back our way, but as of right now, this type of a pattern would favor bigger snow south of us here. So if we take a look here, this is the European model. This is Friday into Saturday. Again, we're watching some snow showers with the colder air back off to the northwest. As we get into Monday, here's that storm center I was talking about, beginning to develop some. And then you see the snow and the ice breaking out to the south. And look at the ice storm and the snowstorm. Houston, San Antonio, Austin, Texas, near Dallas, Shreveport, and again along the southern coastal sections of Louisiana, Mississippi, and then over into the southeastern part of the country. So that's the part of the forecast we'll be keeping an eye on. That's the uncertain part of the forecast. But the certain part of the forecast is it's going to be cold. And this is what you need to be doing now while it's warm before the cold air gets here. Wrap those outside faucets. Bring in the firewood. Also, make sure that your car has plenty of antifreeze in it. Make sure that your battery is good. Cold weather can drain the battery, so make sure that's good. Also, check the pressure in your tires. You want that. Remember, the cold air can also deflate the tires. Also, make sure that your windows and doors are sealed up with weather stripping and any caulking that needs to be done. And check on the elderly. Remember, a lot of times they don't have adequate ways to stay and prepare for cold weather like this, extended cold weather like this. So make sure they have plenty of ways to stay warm here. And also, you want to prepare a warm place for your pets. That's going to be bringing them inside. You're not going to leave them outside in cold weather like this. But, of course, we'll be keeping an eye on it as the winter blast heads south and covers much of the U.S. this weekend and early next week.